Hello, hello. Welcome to another serving of convention tea. Like I said in our last serving of convention tea, we're going to be hitting up Sakura Con up in Seattle. Now, this is my fourth Sakura Con, and I've been attending consecutively for the past couple of years. My first Sakura Con being way back in 2009. Normally, Sakura Con is during Easter weekend, and typically with SoccerCon, why there's a gap between 2009 and 2024, it's because I did a convention called Anime Boston. But let's dive into SoccerCon 2026. And let me tell you, I was a busy person at SoccerCon, and we'll get into that in a few. All right, but first, if this is your first time tuning into Convention Tea, just a little bit about us. So, Scarlet Rhapsody, we are a convention reporting website. We talk about convention culture, we talk about cosplay culture, and we've been going on for 20 plus years. That's right, you can find cosplay photos on our website and just chat about cosplay conventions on our blog dating back since 2003. One day I would like to restore some of my old convention reports that I wrote back in 2000 to about 2003, early 2003. But anyway, but we've been around for quite some time and we don't intend to stop anytime soon. In fact, I'm also a writer of a book called the Fangirl Diaries. So if you're interested in learning more about that, check out the information in our bio. So basically, we've been around conventions for quite a long time and we know our stuff. But before we begin, I just also want to reiterate that no part of this presentation about SoccerCon was made with ChatGPT or any AI tools. And now for SoccerCon 2026. While I don't have any final numbers of how big SoccerCon was, in fact, I didn't apply as press this year. I was actually applied as a presenter this year. So with SoccerCon 2026, of course, it reprised its location in downtown Seattle over at the Seattle Convention Center, both the Art Building and the brand new Summit Building. I know this is a controversial choice for a SoccerCon, but because this con is so huge, you really need those two spaces. So both buildings were there for main events, panels, and so forth. And this year, believe it or not, I actually got to go into the Arch building. And we'll talk more about that. But yeah, but before we get started, just wanted to just give a quick shout out to my friend LV, also known as Wild Faye Writes on Instagram. Please support her with her commissions. She's gone through some hard times right now. She's commissioning anything and everything. So if you want to do a custom heart charms, pet portrait commissions, sticker commissions, highly recommend looking her up. Information in the description for more information on how you can commission Wild Faye Writes and definitely support your local artist. All right. Like I said earlier, I was really busy at SakuraCon this year. I had 2 nights of my cosplay comedy show, Cosplay Wrestling Federation, and then also I had my Angel Hearts Day. Well, Angel Hearts had their debut in Seattle. Well, first time ever performing in Seattle. So that was great and also an honor to be a part of. And also, my friend Diana made their re debut with Angel Hearts. So it was great to have them on board. And also, I perform my usual in Y2K era panel. I love doing these panels at conventions because it really brings together a certain generation of anime fans together in one room. And I really felt that these panels have been creating and building community among elder millennials in anime fandom. And I don't intend to stop anytime soon. I just hope these don't get too repetitive. I really want to bring something new to it. And my colleague from Angel Hearts, Shaw, actually helped me on with this one this time around. It's nice to do these things with a partner. It's kind of gets overwhelming when you're doing this solo, but I have to thank SoccerCon for always allowing me to have these panels at their convention and seeing what value it brings to programming. All right. As likewise, I always like to talk about popular fandoms at the convention. So this year we saw a lot of Uma Musume. Of course, K-pop Demon Hunters is going real strong. No sign of stopping anytime soon. In fact, I just tried on my Zoe cosplay earlier today. I actually got my cosplay right after WinterCon. So I'm like, okay. I'm also going to be part of the K-pop Demon Hunters hype. I just have to fix up a kind of a flub up from the source that I bought it from, because remember, when even if you're buying costumes online, sometimes might not be perfect. But hey, like at least I have the sewing skills to just kind of fix up a flub up in the costume I bought. All right, and then also a lot of Sonic cosplayers this year. So it's really just really cool to see like just different people's interpretations of different Sonic characters. So if I would have to pick the top three fandoms at SakuraCon, this would be it. I wasn't at the Uma Musume gathering, but I saw the photos. It was massive, and I could have brought my Zena Rob Roy for that one, but I decided to just skip out on that because I just had so much going on. Surprise fandoms. I always like talking about surprise fandoms. Fandoms you're surprised to see either make a comeback or you see that one person who's representing your fandom. So for SakuraCon, we had Slayers. Oh my goodness. It's just so cool to see Slayer's cosplay in 2026 and so exciting. And of course, Love Live cosplay. I'm so happy to see Love Live cosplay making a slow comeback to the convention scene. It makes me also want to bring back my Love Live cosplays. I started cosplaying from Love Live like over 10 years ago. Can you believe that Love Live is over 10 years old? I mean, I got Nico, I got Maki, I got Setsuna Yuki, I got Nozomi, I got Daya, I got Yohane. I'm ready to bring it back. And then we also have Aikatsu. I love Aikatsu. In fact, one of the songs that I do with Angel Hearts is a song from Aikatsu. So it makes me happy to see people costing from other idol anime outside of like the usual suspects. And speaking of idols, I like to give a shout out to Angel Hearts. Please follow us on our YouTube channel, Instagram. You see the information in our description to learn how to follow us. But you can start by following us on YouTube. All right, let's talk about day zero. So, at day zero, if you remember last year's nightmare situation registration, sometimes it took you 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours to get your badge. This year, there's a lot of improvements, and I appreciate that. So, I'm actually happy that there was a separate line for presenters and panelists, because last year I had to fall in line like everyone else did for presenters. Again, I didn't get a press badge this year. I normally get a press badge, but since I was going to be covered under presenters anyway, that was like, okay, I don't have to worry about that. Even though I still do my reports, I still talk about Sakura Con on my YouTube channel. But here, I was able to get my presenter badge, no problem. The only critique I really have about registration is sometimes it's just really hard to read the signs from far away. So thankfully, I had someone on staff like, hey, can you point me where panelists had to pick up their badges because I can't see the signs from far away. Being nearsighted, it's a mood. Also, I had friends coming in from Southern California that were newcomers to SakuraCon. So this is my buddy Christian, who is cosplaying as Soldier at Cosplay Wrestling Federation. So we were just showing him around downtown Seattle. And of course, I like to show photos of the calm before the storm at SakuraCon. I love this display right here. During the convention, this would change to like just different like events going on, different guest spotlights, advertisements. But I always like to take photos of calm before the storm. This is all day zero here. And of course, I like taking photos of random oddities that I spot. And apparently, one can pick up a cursed mug for free in Seattle. And before we get on to day one, a special shout out to Cosplay Wrestling Federation. You can follow them on YouTube. Cosplay Wrestling Federation is also the best in cosplay sports entertainment. So if you want to see what we're all about, all of our performances can be found on our YouTube channel. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let us know what you think about your favorite wrestlers or your least favorite in the comments. All right. bringing it to back to Cosplay Wrestling Federation. So here we have just us in rehearsals for day one of Cosplay Wrestling Federation. We were given I call this the runway stage. It's on the fifth floor of the Summit Building. I like the stage. I like that it has like a runway. I like that there was an open aisle for entrances, and this is probably my favorite location for Cosplay Wrestling Federation at Sakura Con. Something we did for night one, basically, is we had CWF's next top host, and then we had a tag match with myself and Lydon. I was Persian. My partner, my wrestling partner, was cosplaying as Lydon, and we were representing Neko World Order, NWO. And we had our NWO shirts on, and then we were going up against Isaac and Miria. And now we're the tag team champions of Cosplay Wrestling Federation, and we will be defending that title belt at Fanime this year. And this is just basically, I call our cast photo. So this is our performers for night one of Cosplay Wrestling Federation on the cherry blossom runway. I just love the aesthetic. I like how they added like cherry blossom, like pink purple lighting. I love the background here. They didn't have this when I started performing with Cosplay Wrestling Federation, but I really like that SakuraCon really stepped it up with the decorations this year. Also Friday, some cosplays I ran into. Of course, Uma Musume cosplay just going really strong this year. I'm always happy to see my girl Evelyn, especially when we get a KDA version of her. I also cosplay as KDA Evelyn. And mad props to any cosplayer cosplaying as Evelyn with those like nail things. I don't know what you call them, but it's a pain in the ass to just wear those and text and just kind of like just move around. So I only wear my Evelyn to um one day cosplay events, or if I need to be in a cosplay just in a few hours. But yeah, mad props to this person right here. And also makes me happy seeing Rama cosplayers in 2026, and it really does help that Rama got that boost in popularity because of the reboot on Netflix. Of course, I like to take photos of convention vibes. So this is the outside of the Summit Building and people just going in and out. It was a very nice weather for SoccerCon. Barely any rain at all. Normally, yeah, it rains in Seattle. Usually rains. You'll get a little bit of rain during SoccerCon, but it was sunny weather overall throughout the weekend. I don't have any photos of us doing the panel itself. This is myself and Shaw cosplaying as Ray and Ami from Sailor Moon. Oh my god, I just realized we're Ray Ami. Just like Zoe's voice actress in K-pop Demon Hunters. That actually was confirmed that Ray Ami got her stage name directly from these two characters we're cosplaying as. Yeah, so Shaw had this idea of wanting to cosplay as the Sailor Scouts in the Fruit Maid outfits. And I do have my Ray cosplay. I just had to remake the main dress, and I had to remake the headband dealie because I didn't really like how my original headband turned out. So yeah, so this is just us just cosplaying as what is known as the Fruit Maids variant of Rei Hino and Ami Mizuno. And we're very much like our characters in real life. I mean, if I could also do the Sailor Moon version, I would love to, but sadly, the place where we got our ribbon for Ami and Ray here, sadly, is now defunct. R.A.P. Joanne's. Yeah, I really love just how our outfits turned out. And after we did our panel on Y2K culture, which was very well attended, I really appreciate the audience that came out. I also appreciate the compliments that we got after the presentation. Us just being able to talk about anime, cosplay in the early 2000s, how we got into it. So yeah, it was a really fun panel, and I just really liked just everyone who just made it out for it. All right, so yeah, I got we have a comment in the chat from Here's to the Promise. I'm bummed that I wasn't able to make it to SoccerCon this year. Last year was my first, and it was a blast. Yeah, I had fun last year too. All right, so we were here in the dealer's hall. I was very tempted to get this Russian blue kitty backpack. I love how realistic it looks, but I was also on a budget crunch at Sakura Con. You can kind of see like what the prices look here for cardigans and what they are for these cute kitty bags here. Remember, I just got off the weekend before from WonderCon, so I'm doing conventions back to back, and also SoccerCon was very close to the first of the month, so we all know what that means if you're adulting. Yeah, while I do save money, it's also nice to just kind of like pinch your pennies, especially in this economy. You never know what's going to happen. But I also appreciated seeing tea booths and candle booths at SoccerCon as well. Just some cosplay highlights. Again, just highlighting just a couple here. I actually do appreciate again the Uma Musume cosplays. I actually want to do this version of the characters for an upcoming event in Santa Anita. Santa Anita, for those you don't know, it's a very old school, vintage, historical racetrack here in Southern California. So I'm hopefully I can get these outfits done on time. They're relatively easy. I've made outfits like this before, so yeah, let's make some magic happen. And then I just kind of did a dash through Artist Alley. So just kind of just walked around Artist Alley just to kind of see what was there. I think my one of my favorite highlights from Artist Alley was running into this artist. They were playing Hikari, the English version, Simple and Clean by Hikaru Utada, and I was singing along to the Japanese version. I actually know both songs. I learned it on the piano, and it's like, yeah. Speaking of Y2K goodness, we were just singing along to "Simple and Clean" Hikari from Kingdom Hearts, like just in the middle of the middle of the artist alley, because sometimes you just kind of have to just let it all out and sing. And plus, it's simple and clean. Can't guarantee our vocals were. All right, so that just wraps it up for a Friday. For the rest of Friday, I ended up just kind of hanging out with friends. We just went around downtown Seattle for drinks, for dinner. We went to a sushi place not too far from the convention center. I swear my whole weekend was very sushi-fied. So, night one, Friday, I had sushi, and then the following day, I had a sushi date over in the International District. So, yeah, had sushi, went to a bar right afterwards with friends, but yeah, just a nice way to just wind down the day. And of course, Convention Tea is brought to you by Yi Max Sweater. Yi Max Sweater is one of my favorite places to get some cozy wear. Whether you're into vintage, whether you're into gyaru, whether you're just into just having something cozy on hand to wear at the home, Yi Max Sweater has it all. You can use my code YIMAC-Dame Asmol to get 40% off your total purchase. And I know y'all have been using my code because I've been getting those royalties, and I very much appreciate it. This is one of my favorite places to get gifts for the people in my life. And if you're looking to get gifts for the people in your life or just looking to just upgrade your wardrobe at an affordable price, you can use my code YIMAC-Dame Asmol. All right, let's get into Saturday. So my roommates and I, we wanted to like make a side quest to we wanted to make a side quest into the University of Washington. So it was about like a $20 Uber ride from our hotel. So yeah, if you're planning to do this during SoccerCon, you can either take public transportation and try to survive in Gosway, or you can just share an Uber with friends. So I ended up just wearing my Gyaru Kogal outfit. And if you look closely, you can kind of see how the theme of this Kogal outfit matches a certain championship team from Seattle. I wonder which one it is. If the number 12 rings a bell to any of you, if you know, you know. So, my friend Trish here, she wanted to just also get some photos of her maid outfit, and she needed some help just taking a video for her maid audition for Fanimade, for the Fanime Maid Cafe. And then, okay, yeah, we can do that. Well, it's morning. There's barely anyone here. So I just also just ended up just taking some anime-esque style photos. And we were just like joking around like, yeah, we're cosplaying. We're cosplaying from Uwu Academy. because you can't spell uwu with U and W. And then back to the convention. So just kind of just wandered around Sakura Con on Saturday, just kill some time before the big main event for Cosplay Wrestling Federation. I like how this guy was crossing his trainer and he was taking a poll of who the best Uma was because I was sad to see Ogre Recap only getting one vote. I ended up voting for Ogre Recap. So in the comments on the channel, tell me which horse you would have voted for. I want to see who's your favorite Uma and who do you think is the best Uma. And then just other cosplay highlights. I was also happy to see Mermaid Melody Peachy Peachy. I was also happy to see just some One Piece cosplayers. And of course, this is a throwback for me to university, Sergeant Frog. This just made me happy to see, like, oh my god, people remember Sergeant Frog. And then it's not an event in the in Seattle until you have this band perform. I always see them at various events that happen in downtown Seattle, Geek Girl Con, Emerald City Comic Con, and they're back. For Sakura Con, I actually do appreciate them seeing them here. A lot of times they'll play geeky tunes, anime, video games, and so forth. And I do appreciate the tuba player having a very profound statement on their tuba. And yes, all are welcome to the cottage. All are welcome to this channel. And just also wandering around, I also ran into folks running conventions. I do appreciate SakuraCon having a section of highlighting various conventions around the Pacific Northwest and our neighbors up in Canada. I've heard of Animathon a while back because I do have a lot of friends up in Canada. So that's their booth, and I just wanted to take photos of vibes around the vendor hall. And of course, the vendor hall is where you could also get some celebrity signings. SakuraCon had a ton of American voice actors signing autographs, taking selfies at a price. And then we also had just various bands such as Scandal at SakuraCon as well. There wasn't really any voice actor or a performer that rung any interest to me. But then again, I was very busy with panels, idol this and that, comedy this and that at SakuraCon, so I was mainly focused in on that. Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon was just kind of like I have free time, I can wander around, yay! Also, one of my favorite booths in the vendor hall, because I have a bias towards Sailor Moon, of course, was this booth selling vintage Sailor Moon merch, such as the Band Presto and the Bandai plushes that you can only get through the UFO catcher machines. I've actually bought mine individually. I do own a Reihino and Sailor Saturn plush, such as the ones up there, and you can see how much you're going for. Not too much, as a matter of fact. I think I do have that Sailor Mars plush up there, and I know the Saturn one is highly coveted, which is the one I have. So I do appreciate seeing this at the convention center and just kind of seeing like Sailor Moon collectibles here. There's another booth that was also selling vintage, rare Cardcaptor Sakura merch. I can't believe I'm just calling a lot of these things from my childhood vintage, but in reality they are, because the 90s were 30 years ago. Take my breath away. Let me just pull the quote here for my friend, because this is just how long ago things actually are. Let me just pull the quote here, just if you just give me a moment. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Yes, to quote my friend, the song Take My Breath Away is as old as a song from 1956 during the year 1996. Yeah. Think about that one. And then I saw Anime Live. This is also another symphonic anime band that's performing songs from Freerun, various video games. They topped it off with the Pokemon song. And I also I always appreciate just hearing live music. A lot of the arrangements were done by the lead person from Anime Live. And it was just really just kind of cool to just sit down and just listen to and vibe to just live music. Alright, more cosplayers on Saturday. always great. Seeing Pretty Cure cosplay. I love that anime. I love that franchise so much. And of course, Cardcaptor Sakura in the cat outfit. That's actually on my list of cosplays I eventually need to finish up. And of course, we got Oguri. No, sorry. We have Oguri Cap and Gold Ship. Again, Uma Musume not dying anytime soon. And of course, we have a Love Live cosplayer. It's none other than Honoka. Honoka's voice actress was actually a guest at this year's Sakura Con. Last year we had Nico, and I'm still sad I didn't get to see Nico last year. Because Nico was my OG best girl from Love Live. And in fact, I named my cat Nico. And in fact, you might see the emote of Nico on this presentation that was made by my friend Komi on here. And then Sakura Con, for night two for Cosplay Wrestling Federation, we had Saku Rumble in the Sakura Dome. This is over in the Arch Building, right on the top floor. And this is like a circle in the round kind of stage. And this is my first time performing in this type of venue for Cosplay Wrestling Federation. We used to have this room a while back, and this is just very interesting to utilize because you're performing in front of an audience that is surrounding you, and you had to make use of that space. And I really do appreciate my colleagues, especially Christian, cosplaying as Soldier, really making use of that space and getting everyone into a chant to take down Homura. And just some highlights of our performers here. This is Lydon, the last time you'll ever see Lydon in this form. The defending champion, Homura, and our new champion, Soldier. And also later in the evening, right after Saku Rumble, which was very well attended, I attended the Gyaru meetup. So right after dinner, had a dinner date over in the International District. It was an all-you-can-eat sushi place. Long story short, I left my phone in the car. Whoops. And I didn't have my phone on me, but I did have my regular camera. So I don't really have like a lot of good fit photos of my Kogal Snow White. But again, my buddy Shaw cosplaying as Kogal Cinderella over here. We just ended up just going as Kogal versions of Disney princesses. This is a concept she had back in Fanime, and anytime we do anything Disney, we always have to like just bust out our Kogal outfits. Normally, Key is our Sleeping Beauty. It was going to be my buddy Tori over here to be Sleeping Beauty, but they ended up watching Masquerade, and I love their Apothecary Diaries cosplay scene right here. It's so pretty. So yeah, let's just take a look at some of the Kogal fits right here. You can just kind of see just samplings of some of the Kogal and the Gyaru fits presented. We had a pretty huge turnout, and I'm just inspired to like just kind of figure out like just my own kind of a style with Gyaru, especially Kogal, because Kogal is the one that just makes me the most comfortable. Because I always like wearing like large oversized cardigans, short skirts, and long socks. The baggy socks too. One of my favorite parts about this meetup was all of us just ended up just doing para para. We just had someone's phone, and we just it's just kind of like a K-pop random play, but para para. And you know what? If we have more Gyaru meetups in the future and we do like a para para random play, I am all about that life. And before we go on to Sunday, I'd like to just give a shout out to multitasking.com. This AAPI women-led business is one of my favorite resources for office supplies, whether you're working from home or whether you're working in the office. You can use my code CATS for 10% off your order over at multitasking.com. More information in the description. You can see here that I purchased my light ring from them. I'm using this light ring to stabilize my cosplay photos, and also been using it for solo cosplay shoots wherever I go. All right, so just moving forward on Sunday, Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is a very quiet day at Sakura Con. A lot of the crowd kind of thins out because usually Friday, Saturday are generally busy, but this is like 10 a.m. At Sakura Con, like in the main building. So I was just kind of just wandering around the atrium lobby, ended up just taking some photos of my idol outfit here, but it's very quiet. And just kind of just some photos here. We have some Gothic Lolitas. They were over at the J Fashion Show. And we also have a Wolfwood and Vash, appropriate for Easter Sunday, carrying a cross around. And then one of my favorite things about SoccerCon, I slept on this last year, was a 24/7 arcade. This is all free to play, and they had a variety of games over here. And I just wanted to sort of just highlight a few of the games they got. You just kind of just see right here. I know the lighting's kind of bad, but I also just wanted to just kind of capture just what it looked like. I also appreciate that they had water. I appreciated that it didn't stink so bad. And I just ended up just going like early in the day just to get some rounds of para para in. And then I also ended my Sunday just playing a few rounds of para para over at the arcade. Like I really need to visit this arcade often next year when I return to SoccerCon. I just miss anime convention arcades that are like this, that it's free to play. There's a variety of games, games from childhood, games from the present day. I just totally miss these vibes. And then, of course, I always like to highlight, yeah, Uma Musume is not going to go away anytime soon. And being that it's Easter, you saw a lot of people with bunny themed outfits. So here we have some Vocaloid bunnies. Also part of the traditions of SoccerCon on Easter Sunday. A lot of them like to give away like the plastic eggs with candy inside. So that was also just a fun thing that people were doing. Also, SoccerCon has like a lot of ribbon trading. So I was also giving away a couple of ribbons. A lot of them were leftovers from Anime Los Angeles. I was giving away one for Pinoy's. I gave away one for if you're a member of the 12s, if you know, you know. And I was also giving away a ribbon for anyone who had a copy of my book as a thank you for like supporting me in my author journey. Also, right before our Angel Hearts performance, I decided to just sit in on the panel that was right before ours, and this is the bootleg panel. This is very informative because they were just talking about like, yeah, here's some examples of ripoff merchandise, how to spot a bootleg. A lot of this I already knew, but it's just always funny just to see the photos of them and just seeing examples of various bootlegs and just getting audience reaction. So one of my favorites is still Planet Girls. And I think there was one called like Shirley Moon. I don't know if the panelists covered it, but with that said, Planet Girls is one I remember from the mid '90s. I remember my local comic book store had them. Like, this can't be Sailor Moon at all, at all. And then I just want to just highlight some cosplays. My Little Pony. Yeah, just again, Uma Musume not gonna go any away anytime soon. All right, and this is just our Angel Hearts debut at in Seattle, and you can also see my buddy here, Diana. It is their re-debut, and shout out to my buddy Tori for gifting us these hair, like it's like, you know, when you go to conventions, there's always that booth that sells like hair accessories that you can just stick in your hair. Tori gifted us some swords, tiny daggers that you can just like stick in your hair, all according to our idol colors. So yeah, this is a photo I believe my buddy Manny took of us, and you can see I'm totally aura farming here. Just right before our singing debut, we ended up singing "Power of Love" from Sailor Moon. I I don't know if video is up on YouTube. I'm afraid to play video on here for because I would risk a copyright strike. But I really enjoyed singing up there. I just, it was just a lot of fun. And then we also went into Para Para and we also performed an Idolmaster song. Yeah, it was like my first time having a center role with Angel Hearts. Again, I only been performing with Angel Hearts since, whew, I want to say late 2024. So even though like Angel Hearts has been around, um, I recently had joined them about a year and a half or so ago, and it's just been pleasant. It's just been great being a Kai Guy idol, and just kind of being a part of this group. And I just have so many, I so many words of just being so thankful to have had this opportunity, because since I started cosplaying and being part of the convention scene, seeing USA Musume, not Uma Musume, but USA Musume. They're one of like the first Kaigai idols out here in the United States before the word Kaigai idol was ever invented. And I wanted to be a part of something like that. And I just want to just tell you right now that it's never too late to be an idol. And I am here for it. And of course, this is the panel section here where we just kind of talk about Angel Heart's origins, where we talk about a lot of this and that just kind of like, yeah, just why we got into it, who we are, and just kind of like just throwing down some idol history. Well, Kaigai idol history. Yeah. And this is just us with our audience on Sunday. So it was a lot of fun. Um, Yeah, thank you to everyone for your support. Thank you to everyone for dropping in. Always appreciate it. And thank you for everyone for your support. It was just so much fun doing this panel and performing for you all on Sunday. And yeah, I'm still surprised. Like, oh my God, I had my first like song where I'm the center of. It was funny because in rehearsal we were like, um, who's center? And I'm just like in my dance stance, like, and they're like, oh, you're the center. Like, okay, I guess I'm the center now. Like, we can do this. We got this. And just kind of leaving the convention, just running into a few cosplayers. I'm not really all that familiar with the Yakuza series, but I thought this was pretty funny. And of course, the last cosplay group I took of during the convention, more Apothecary Diaries goodness. I really want to cosplay as one of the concubines because I just think this would be a really fun project to work on, but um I just need to find time to sew. And yeah, in this economy, it's just kind of hard just kind of just locking yourself down and just kind of like determining budget wise what you want to prioritize when I have like a huge pile of unfinished costumes that could use some can use some TLC right now. And just before we go on to our final thoughts, I just want to give a shout out and a self promo to my book, The Fangirl Diaries. Basically, this is all about the late 90s and early 2000s. So if you grew up with the Toonami era, if you grew up watching Sailor Moon and having to record each episode on your VCR, if you remember when conventions were $50 for a week for the weekend at most, if you remember making cosplays out of just random satin you found at Joann's. If you remember having to hot glue your cosplay together in the hotel room, this book is for you. This is about my shenanigans in the late 90s, early 2000s, in an era before streaming and social media. What was the community like back then? So I just wanted to provide like a time capsule of anime fandom history that encompasses anime, cosplay, girlhood, all into one. So check out my book, The Fangirl Diaries. Information is in the description. All right, I gotta like just bust out my final thoughts here. So with that said, my final thoughts of Sakura Con. So I always have fun at Sakura Con. I know Sakura Con has had a lot of issues leading up to 2026's show. One of them was the controversy of whether or not um, the whole Idol Fest situation. So long story short, the higher ups at SoccerCon wanted to have like a whole Idol Fest type thing where each idol group, performer, etc., would get like maybe 5 minutes of stage time for a Sunday Idol showcase. However, that meant having to cancel all idol or performance type panels, meaning our panel actually did get dropped from the schedule before the convention. And this caused quite a stir within the idol community, especially when you have like folks flying in to perform. And I've always appreciated SoccerCon for giving idol groups, music performance groups, panel time and space to not only perform, but to also talk about their art. And it really disappointed a lot of us when panels were being canceled. And I was just like, really, guys? So, after finding out that this also upsetted programming that a lot of these idol and performer type of panels had to be dropped. They're reinstated. A lot of folks on social media, including myself, were making some noise about it because idols, just like gamers, just like cosplayers, are just a part of the community as any other fan group. And I always, even if it's not Angel Hearts, even if I'm not the one performing, I always like going in and seeing like idols performing, whether it's a gorilla show that's an unofficial sanctioned thing from the convention, unofficial thing at the convention. I know Final Fantasy Fan Fest had something like that going on. And then we also have like, yeah, basically, I'm just very thankful that the convention programming heads listened to the community and reinstated back the idol panels into to the convention. Of course, as I mentioned before, I'm always thankful when SakuraCon offers me panels. So being able to do the Y2K era panel with my friend Shaw, just kind of giving it a brand new perspective, that was great to do. I really enjoyed doing that. And I would be more than happy to do this again. I'd be more than happy to bring this back to any Washington or Pacific Northwest convention because Pacific Northwest, you've been so good to me. I love you guys. And I just love that the Pacific Northwest, there's still room and there's still a community for fan submitted panels because not gonna lie, there's very few conventions in Southern California that accept fan submitted programming, and that makes me sad. I also like that there was ribbon trading. Everyone was generally friendly. I regret not getting a press pass this year because, like, hey, there could have been some really cool people to interview. I would have liked to have seen Honika, this voice actress, but that didn't really pan out. But it's okay. I was very busy during SoccerCon, so it was just, again, it's really sometimes it's hard for me to gauge like my final thoughts, but overall, I had a good time. The only real complaint I had was not the fault of the convention, but more the faults of like what community is looking like in 2026. So, when I go to a ribbon trading gathering, yeah, I love seeing ribbons. I love seeing people, what they're trading, and yeah, I mean, it builds community. It's not an official thing sanctioned by Sakura Con, so yeah, I love organic fan things. But in 2026, we should not have. In 2026, even though with the political climate as it is, please do not use any slurs, whether you're being serious or ironic or edgy, on your ribbons. Because when I saw that a homophobic slur was being used on a ribbon, I'm like, we do not need that here. It was terrible 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's still bad to use even in present day, present time, and moving forward. And don't give me any of that, oh, we're just reclaiming it. When people are still being hurt, when people's rights are being taken away in this common era, in what we're living in right now, it is not appropriate to put that on a ribbon. Sorry, not sorry. Do not use that slur in your ribbons because ribbons, merchandise. I even had to drop an artist that I was working with because they used a homophobic slur in the necklace that they produced. And it was sad because I really liked that artist and I wanted to give them an opportunity to work with me on projects I was working on. But the moment you use a homophobic slur or any slur in general that hurts a group of people that are currently being marginalized, do not use it. Period. So that's just my only complaint I had about soccer economy. And there's the usual, like, yeah, it's a pain in the butt to walk from point A to point B. I wish I had more time to take photos in the Freeway Park area. It's that little atrium right by the Arch building because I always love that place for photos, but I didn't have a lot of time. So I'm actually glad that I did go on Thursday so I can just make some time to like, yeah, just see a couple places. I had some time to go check out the cherry blossoms with a friend of mine. and I was able to even hit up the international district for dinner. So overall, I had a great time at SoccerCon. This convention never really disappoints me. Again, always thankful for panels and presentations and whatnot. And again, special thank you to SoccerCon. Special thank you to all my friends, Cosplayer Wrestling Federation, Angel Hearts, for everything. And just so you know, this is actually a screenshot taken by one of my friends of us performing a song called Thank You from the Idol Master. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time here at SoccerCon, and I'm looking forward to 2027. And hopefully by then, I should be able to call the Pacific Northwest my actual home. I've been telling folks that the Pacific Northwest is my second home, but I want to make it my primary home by this time next year because everything about SoccerCon, everything about the Pacific Northwest, the community, just the vibes feels like home to me. And again, Pacific Northwest, you've been so great to me by allowing me to build community, to allow to build a space for elder millennials to vibe about a time period, the late 90s and early 2000s. And I want to bring more of that to the convention community. Because, hi, I need to live up to my name, Cosplay Ancestor Airy, which is my cosplay name. I mean, yeah, I am the Wisteria Witch here on YouTube and Twitch and as my Visona here. But I'm just looking forward to the day where I can call you guys my home. And yes, I do agree that the International District is lit. All right, with that said, thank you so much again. And remember to like, subscribe to our Twitch channel, and like and subscribe and ring that little notification bell if you're watching us on YouTube. And looks like, again, like I said earlier, I don't intend to stop anytime soon. I love reporting. I love talking about conventions. And yeah, I will hope to see you at the next convention. Our next edition of Convention Tea will be a personal first. I will be talking about Final Fantasy Fan Fest. And with that said, the convention is what you make of it, so make it a good one. And we'll see you at the con. And remember, you got to believe in the power of love. Fly, angels, fly.